This week we're taking a look at the ways that we label ourselves and how that can hold us back in business. This mindset issue can be incredibly powerful, but as a visionary leader, sometimes you need practical ways to get yourself or your team on track. The longer term solution to this is using the key frameworks that you'll find in Leadership Before Management. These are 5 things that are keeping you as a visionary leader back and getting you stuck in the day-to-day management, when really the opportunity is there for you to lead your team to success and get those big ideas into reality. Maybe you think of yourselves as highly organized, or you're just very messy, or you're very timely, or you're not very punctual at all. Are you disciplined? Are you somebody who just likes to take it easy, right? We have all these labels that we put on ourselves, and sometimes in business, they come back to bite us. This one was going to bite my client pretty bad if she walked into a networking event and said, "Hi, I'm an attorney, please don't hate me." When the reality was the work that she does, the work that her firm does, is actually very client-centric. So here's what we did. It's a 3-step process, and it really helped this woman. She now actually volunteers to go do networking events, and she introduces herself in a great way, because it was such a shame, because what was actually happening is she works for a firm where they serve an underserved market. She's doing a lot of good in the world. She's helping people through a really difficult time period in their lives, and yet she's going up and apologizing for the role that she played being a professional. Wasn't gonna cut it. So we followed this 3-step process, and we got her out to networking events feeling proud of herself without actually having to change her profession or even change her mindset in a way. So what we did is we first recognized there was a trigger word. We recognized the trigger was actually calling herself a lawyer or an attorney. For whatever reason, even though she'd gone to graduate school and gotten this degree, the word wasn't working for her. So we had to recognize that wasn't working for her. And rather than force the issue, which for some people might work but wasn't working in this situation, we decided instead to reframe it. We started looking at all the positives of what she brought to the world. Yes, her role was an attorney, but what were the benefits that she provides? What are the ways in which she helps people? What are the unique talents and abilities she brings to the table? She advocates for people. She helps them through difficult transitions in their lives. She makes a tough situation far more palatable and easier to go through because of the work that she does. And when she could start talking in those terms, she was proud of what she did. The pride, the passion about what she could do for people really started showing through. And that's what starts attracting people to us, especially in that sales and marketing phase where we're first starting to meet people. Talking about the benefits that you can provide not only appeal to the other side, but can really bring out that energy in the person talking. And so we not only recognized that there was this trigger word that we're just gonna wipe from her vocabulary, we actually started reframing it with the adjectives and the benefits that really would work with her. So once we had identified which ones those were, which brought the most energy, with the most passion into her conversation, we just replaced them. Came up with a new bio, a new way of her introducing herself that really fit herself and she could feel proud of going out to the world with. Another client of mine had a team member who she was ready for management, according to him. He thought she'd be great at it, but she kept downplaying the potential role that she could have. And it's funny because when I went in doing my workshop with this team, using the techniques that are in that Leadership Before Management guide down below, she changed. She actually started volunteering. She started to coordinate all of the work with the team and stepping up into that leadership role that he'd been asking her for months, if not years, to take on. So sometimes when we reframe the way we think about ourselves, the work we do, how the business operates, we can change that mindset issue about what we're capable of and the labels that we put on ourselves. I'm gonna leave you with one more story, because sometimes we think that this label, we've screwed up so bad and there is no way that we can get over it. So even in the worst situation, I will tell you one of my most embarrassing stories ever. So one of my most embarrassing stories in the work world is that I left a voicemail for a woman and I didn't get my name right. I didn't get my company name right. And then there was this really long pause in which I was trying to figure out how to actually hit the button that would reset the voicemail and take me back to the beginning, or just delete everything I just said, and I couldn't think of it. So at the end of the voicemail, he said something like, "Call me back, thanks," which, if you didn't hear that, was "call me back, thanks." It was the worst voicemail I've ever left in my life. And I got off and there was that moment in which I wanted to be mortified that I'd left this. It was with a new client, like a multi-million dollar client. We've been working really hard on getting this client in the door, and I just left this horrible voicemail with somebody in their like legal and compliance team. It was awful. But I followed this process. I recognized the trigger, which was that I was going to beat myself up for making mistakes. I had to decide, was I a incompetent human being who couldn't even get their name right? Or was I just a human being who makes mistakes? When we can reframe that, it allows us to approach the situation differently. In that case, I sent an email to the woman because I didn't want to take the chance of leaving another voicemail. I said, hey, I left you the worst voicemail I've ever left anybody in my life. You can listen to it if you want, but you don't have to. Just call me when you get a chance. And guess what? She called back laughing at me, not laughing with me. I decided to start laughing with her though, because when I reframe that into I'm a human being and I actually make mistakes, it helps other people feel human too. We all struggle with these issues. And so when we can do this for ourselves, it leaves us open to create that sense of energy and connection, like it did for my client who took her words from being attorney and lawyer, where she felt like she had to apologize, to advocate and somebody who shepherds people through a difficult time period. And I went from being an incompetent human being who couldn't remember their name to a human being who makes mistakes, who can laugh at themselves, who can laugh with other people. So it seems like such a simple technique, but it could be so powerful in forging connections, in getting past mindset issues in the moment, of just allowing us to recognize that that trigger is there, that we can reframe it with the adjectives and the benefits without the permanence of the label, and then we just replace it. And we can make better decisions in our business day to day. This whole process is all about how do we create value? How do we bring value to the table instead of focusing on our limitations, our competitive tendencies, but how do we create value? How do we share that value and create it as a team? Use these techniques, they're powerful. They help create that connection between us and our clients, between us and our team. So again, it's recognize the trigger, reframe it with the adjectives and the benefits that really feel good and feel more human to us, and then replace it and move on and make the better business decisions. Now, if you're ready to take your team to that next level, you need to know this. There are 5 things that could be holding back your team and holding back you as a visionary leader and keeping you stuck in that muck of day-to-day management. So check out my guide below, Leadership Before Management, and get those tools that get your team on board and get moving towards those big ideas you want to bring into the world. Now, if you liked this video, please like it, subscribe for more, or leave a comment below and let me know what you thought, which part really resonated with you, or if there's anything that I can bring up in future videos, I'd love to know. Leave that below in the comments. Thanks.